You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
You're listening to Straight to the Extra Point, your Niagara source for all news, draft coverage, free agency, weekly game analysis, game day betting picks, and fantasy football updates regarding the National Football League. Here's your hosts, Brandon Caputo and McMaster.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special edition of Straight to the Extra Point right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your January 27th, 2021 edition. Your source North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. Find us on social media for updates, giveaways, and sponsorship promo codes each month by following the podcast on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and following us on Instagram by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network. You can listen to us on many platforms, including Spreaker.com and the free Spreaker app. As well, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Deezer by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network, of course. And lastly, check out our beautiful user-friendly website, armchairgmsports.com, for all things regarding our network. Got articles, podcast episodes, sponsors, and contributors. Everything's on there for you guys. Please go and check that out, and make sure you're liking and subscribing on whatever platform you're listening to us right now. As always, I'm one of your hosts of Straight to the Extra Point. I am Brandon Caputo. You can follow me on Twitter, at Caputs13 of the Canadian Zed. And I'm not joined by Miklos today. I'm joined by another McMaster, oddly enough, his brother, who is the wide receiver number 88 for the formerly Edmonton Eskimos, now the Edmonton football team. He is Harry McMaster, the Niagara Falls, Ontario product. Harry, thanks so much for taking the time to join us, and welcome back to the show. It's been over a year since you played football, and it's been over a year since you've been on the network, so welcome back, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So I know you're a big listener to our Straight to the Extra Point with your brother, where we talk about a lot of things going on in the NFL each week, and write articles about it on our website as well. So with that said, let's talk a little bit in the opening here, Harry, about your thoughts on the NFL season. As a football player and a football fan yourself, just how did you think the NFL handled this COVID season, and your thoughts on that wacky NFC East that included your New York Football Giants, and kind of how that played out?
Yeah, I think one of the big things was, and people didn't really talk about it until later in the season, was none of the games got canceled. We made it all the way through, which was awesome, obviously, and very impressive. You see NBA games getting canceled. So that was awesome. As a Giants fan, the NFC East, actually an exciting season for the first time in a little bit, mostly because our division was trash. But we'll take the excitement any way we can get it.
Came down to the last game of the season, and obviously that controversy with Doug Peterson and the Eagles, basically mailing it in against the Washington football team. Just what were your thoughts on that whole situation? And obviously affected the Giants not being able to get in, but your thoughts on just the way that the season kind of ended, with the Eagles kind of ending that division off, capping it off with what they did against the Washington team in that last game.
Well, obviously you have to win more than whatever 6 games, 7 games to deserve to be in the playoffs. But I think timing was the biggest thing, right? If they just go out there and start Sudfeld from the beginning, then I think there's no problem at all. Everyone's like, okay, they're just putting in the backups because this game doesn't matter, then whatever. But even at halftime, maybe, I don't think there'd be as much controversy, but leaving it as late as they did when the game was that winnable, and especially Hurts is the future, right? It seems that way. So why wouldn't you just let him roll as much as he can? And the whole thing, I'm sure he did deserve it, Sudfeld, to get some playing time. Maybe he's a great guy, right? But it's not even fair to him to put him in that position. Like, you think he's happy right now that he got to go in there and play? like I don't think so.
So
I think the timing was the biggest issue there. But I love Joe Judge's reaction. Fire me up for that.
Yeah, and as a player yourself, Harry, like what would you feel in that situation if you were on that Eagles sideline and you saw the guy that you're projected to have as your starting quarterback be taken out for a guy that's, labeled as a third-string quarterback at this point, and basically seeing that they were giving the game away? Just what would you think if you were a player on that sideline and you knew that your coach was, looking like he was trying to lose the game?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because obviously your teammates and you have relationships with them. So I think anytime I've been in that situation at Western too, like maybe we'll have a backup come in, not in that situation, maybe because of injury or something, like that would always excite me. It's like, okay, here's another one of our teammates. Like, he's getting an opportunity. Let's like do the best we can. Let's make him look good. But like for that situation, and especially seeing how it went, I'm sure the teammates were frustrated about, how even if they were big friends of Nate Sudfeld, like just the way that makes him look afterwards. Like, obviously it looks terrible now because of how it went down, but yeah.
But with that said, we got through it. We got through the NFC East. It was atrocious season for that division, so looking towards 2021. And with that, Harry, we obviously had the AFC and NFC championship games last week, and the off week supposed to be the Pro Bowl. Obviously, that's not taking place, which I don't think anybody's too upset about. The Pro Bowl has become pretty cringeworthy as of late, so nobody really cares about that. But we do have the week in between the Super Bowl. So while I got you here, what are your thoughts on Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Super Bowl as the home team being in the Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history, going up against the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs? What do you think of this matchup?
My Super Bowl pick was Bucs Ravens. So I'm pretty happy about the Bucs making it. And when I was thinking about that pick, I was like, I'm just gonna pick the most obvious thing it could be. So I picked Tom Brady, obviously, and then I strayed a little bit from that in the AFC. I thought, the Ravens would take the next step, I guess. So I'm pretty happy with the Bucs making it for sure, and it's good to see KC. They're unreal, obviously, but I'm cheering for the Bucs. I think that'd be awesome if they won at home, and every win for Brady makes Eli look that much better, so I'm cheering for that.
The two of the times that he lost were against Eli Manning and your New York Giants, so you'll always have that to hold over him. But yes, Tom Brady and the Bucs getting there once again for Tom Brady, his 10th Super Bowl, just incredible. If only you could play on one of those teams, Harry. Maybe you get the call up next year, since Scotty Miller seems to think that he's faster than Tyreek Hill. Maybe you can give him a run for his money.
Well, the thing there is that Daniel Jones statistically is the fastest player in the NFL, so I think that whole conversation just shouldn't even exist.
Yeah, Danny Dimes, the guy tripping over his own feet going into the end zone for a touchdown. That's how fast he was. He was too fast for his own body. That's what happened there, exactly.
Exactly, that's right.
So with that said, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break on the show today. We're going to come back and discuss some of the more important things going on, like the contract extension for Mr. Harry McMaster with the Edmonton football team of the CFL, and as well his off-season training and what that's looked like for the past year. So stay right here. Be right back on Straight to the Extra Point, and right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award, 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory, and Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to segment 2 of our special edition of Straight to the Extra Point. Brandon Caputo and Harry McMaster, the wide receiver of the Edmonton football team of the CFL, back with you here. And Harry, with that said, let's talk about the big news that happened earlier this month for you, and that was your 2-year extension with the Edmonton football team in the CFL. Just talk about how excited you are to continue your CFL career and be up there in Edmonton. I'm sure the cold isn't the nicest thing. I know you're back home in Niagara right now, but going back up to the Edmonton cold, I'm sure that's not the most exciting thing. But as far as the city and playing football up there, I'm sure you're excited to get that part done and over with. Looking forward towards the 2021 season, hopefully.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I'm happy it got done. It was pretty easy, which is cool. It's kind of my first real contract negotiation, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy they wanted to bring me back. Obviously, I didn't have a whole lot statistically or performance-wise to show for my only season in the CFL, but they obviously believe in me and wanted to bring me back, so I'm happy with that. I'm excited.
Yeah, you were a draft pick of Edmonton, and I was luckily enough already had my Edmonton gear, being a fan before you even drafted there, so I didn't even have to go and get any new gear like I had to do with your Western stuff back in the day. But go from the purple to the green and yellow, so I'm all good with that. But with that said, Harry, like we were talking about in the pre-show, I mean, you played 12 games in 2019, but the limited reps and limited targets obviously was the big thing for you, obviously being a rookie in your first year and then missing out on your second year essentially last season with the 2020 season just becoming a wash. So technically you're going into your third year even though nobody played in the second year. So I guess technically you can still say you're going into your second year with Edmonton, but just how unfortunate was that for you? Obviously you were a first year player, you were really looking forward towards your playing time going into year 2 and just, the season being washed. What were your thoughts on how that played out and just kind of your mindset with what happened last season?
Yeah, it was tough for sure, especially staying ready. It was originally delayed until July, right? And then eventually August, and then eventually canceled. So normally in an off season you spend 4 months trying to get to your peak fitness for training camp. So this was that plus another 4 months basically. So that was really tough. Yeah, it is disappointing, and I went to a training camp too when I was drafted, right? So I went to that camp and then went back to Western. So this really would be my fourth training camp coming up, technically, which is really crazy because I've only played one real season in the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been so much time. So much time has gone by since I first broke in.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it and joking about it. The last time you played an actual game was the playoff game against the Montreal Alouettes back on November 10th of 2019. Do you even relate? Does that feel so far away from or long ago that you don't even remember anything from it, or you haven't played a game since then so you can recall most of the things that happened, even though it was literally over a year ago since you last played?
Yeah, it does seem like a really long time ago, but also very recent at the same time. Even moving home from Edmonton, it seemed like when I just came home that the season was such a long time ago, just because the transition's so wild moving from there back home. But yeah, when I think back about that game specifically now, it feels like years ago. I guess it was over a year ago, but it seems like more than that now.
Mm-hmm. And obviously the free agency for the CFL begins on February 9th, so you got 27 pending free agents on the team and might be getting a lot of new guys coming in. Just what were your thoughts on obviously, what you guys did in that season? Obviously it's been a while ago, but you were the crossover team with the CFL rules from the West Division to the East Division, finishing in fourth place, 8-10, 16 points, and then you flipped over to the East Division, which the West Division was seemed a lot more even as far as the point distribution last in that season. So, what were your thoughts on how the season ended for you guys in that playoff game against Hamilton, and how much were you guys looking forward to the season that didn't happen last year and trying to take that next step as a team?
I mean, yeah, we were very happy with how the season went. Coming from Western, we're not that used to losing. We're used to making the playoffs and winning games. But you kind of get an education when you go to the pros that every win is a big deal. It's not easy to win games in the pros, especially playoff games. When we won that Montreal game, that bus was similar to our Vanier bus ride back. That's how excited everyone was, and that's how good the mood was, which was kind of crazy for me. So yeah, I think even though we came up short of our goal, I think we were pretty happy with our season and looking to build off of that, even with the new coaching staff. I think another year with Trevor as our quarterback and some of the other key pieces that spent their first season in Edmonton, I think we're really looking forward to build off that.
Mm-hmm. Second round loss there to Hamilton, but the game against Montreal, 37-29 victory. Like you mentioned, that was definitely a cool moment, I'm sure. But you mentioned the turnover and the new coaching staff that you were supposed to have, and we have some news here regarding the coach that you never got to really have a chance at meeting, which was Scott Milanovich, who was named the Edmonton football team's head coach for the 2020 season, and the 2020 season never happened. And then we got news last week that he would be leaving Edmonton for other NFL opportunities, and we found out earlier today that he most likely will be reuniting with a former coach of his, Marcus Brady, with the Indianapolis Colts. So an interesting reunion there. He is apparently going to join them as the Indianapolis Colts quarterback coach, so that'll be interesting. Is ties with Marcus Brady, who is the Colts' new offensive coordinator, and as well, he's been a longtime friend of Colts head coach Frank Reich, who spent some time, obviously, as the Buffalo Bills quarterback. So, obviously, he didn't really have much of a relationship with Coach Milanovich, Harry. But can you just touch on what that obviously, he must be excited going to the NFL, but maybe just for you with this new coaching staff that's going to be coming in once again, just what are you looking for? Obviously, it's going to be a clean slate, so then maybe that would entice a coach to want to be able to come in with a brand new attitude and maybe obviously give you some more opportunities down the road that maybe you haven't really gotten yet, and give you a real opportunity to showcase what you can do on this team moving forward?
Yeah, that's a lot of the talk around new coaching staff is the clean slate. I thought I was doing pretty well with our coaching staff in my first year. I thought I got along well with our receiver coach and with Moss, who I liked as a coach a lot. But, you try to keep a positive aspect or positive attitude with these things, that it could be even better. It could be great. You don't know, right? So I did I got to form a relationship with our receiver coach, who we had last season. We had some phone calls with him as a receiving group, and I did one-on-one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the position coaches, because, obviously there's a lot of turnover when the head coach leaves, that, a lot of the position coaches follow along. They want to bring in their own guys and that sort of thing. So I'll be really interested to see what happens, an offensive coordinator, if the head coach isn't an offensive guy, but also a receiver coach as well. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, it must be weird to have a brand new coach come in and then not even really get a chance to really meet him or go over any sort of game plan or scheme or anything like that. Was there anything that you guys were able to do with Coach Milanovic before he moved on? Obviously last year was canceled, but was there anything that you guys, that he told you guys to do during the off season, or was there really any communication there, or was it really just, at standstill?
Yeah, we had one video call as a team, kind of a team meeting, kind of laying out what our plan was, not so much for the season because it was impossible at that point, but kind of where we stood as a team and how we wanted to function. And we talked about some social justice issues that were going on at the time and what we were going to do as a team. But yeah, that was really our only communication with him. Through our receiver coach, we did do a lot of work on a playbook and schemes from an offensive point of view. So we did do a good deal of work on that when the season was delayed. But as it kept getting delayed, it kind of fell off, and we didn't really get a whole lot done. Mm-hmm. As the season was fading away.
And with that said, Harry, I mean, what was the last year like for you as far as your training? Because obviously you have to stay somewhat in shape, especially when you're a pro, when you're at the pro level, to kind of, be able to perform whenever you guys are called back to play. Just what has been your training like, obviously being at home and the gyms being closed, everything like that during the pandemic? So what have you been doing to stay in top ready shape for when that time comes back, and trying not to put on the quarantine 20 pounds that everybody seems to have been gaining with the lockdowns and everything like that? So how have you been able to stay in tip-top shape during this time?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was in the gym right up until I think March. So I was doing a pretty good job up till then. And then we were still anticipating the season to start in May. So that leaves me a month and a bit where I had to keep it up. And I did that. I felt I was in a really good spot, just doing workouts at home. As the season got a little more delayed in the summer, I felt like I was still in a pretty good position. Around that time of year, you try to work on cardio and running a lot. Especially for me as a skill position playing receiver, that's a lot of what I do. So the plan was to shift to a lot of that anyways. So I felt like I was still in a pretty good spot, right up until that July date. And then the season was looking more and more like it wasn't going to be a possibility. So I actually got a job, which did not help my training at all. But you got to work. I had to get money. I was anticipating having money in the summer, so that wasn't great. And then once the season was canceled, I really fell off the wagon there for a bit. But that was partially intentional as well, because you go so hard for, you thought it was supposed to be 4 months of training, and then it turned into like 6.5 months of training. To keep that going into the next off season, it just wouldn't be sustainable, and it wouldn't be good for me. So it was kind of a planned rest and recovery phase there for a couple months, and I'm back into it now. So
yeah, at least for me, I mean, obviously I'm not anywhere near the level you're at, but as a person that goes to the gym very regularly 4 or 5 days a week, I just found that I was not into this home workout stuff. I just could not get myself into an environment and into a place mentally that I could work out at home. Just not doing it for me. I got to be at the gym in the workout clothes with my gym bag, ready to go. That's where I need to be mentally to be able to do stuff like that. So how is that for you? Like, what is your regimen for a home workout, and how do you get yourself prepared for that as you're not on the field, or you're not in the weight room, lifting weights. So what is your regimen, and how do you keep yourself motivated to continue to work out, even though, you can't really go to a gym right now, or you can't step on the football field?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And you think of like students too, when they have to study or whatever. A lot of people don't do that at home. When you're out in university or even in high school, like you go to a library or go to like a study hall or whatever, to put yourself in that environment. So I totally understand that. As far as my home workouts, viewing it as it's my job to work out really helps.
Yeah.
Hey, you're getting paid to do this, really, so you better do it. But also, I know where I have to be physically to perform at my best, and imagining showing up to training camp and not feeling that way, or not being as good as I should be, is a terrifying feeling. So I'm going to do everything in my power not to be in that spot. And it has helped me too. My mom owns a physio clinic. So she has a lot of equipment, for me to access. So that's been huge for me too. If I didn't have that, I'd be in a much tougher spot. But yeah, it's definitely a different level of working out than your average person who's just trying to stay fit.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure your most intense workouts were when you were preparing for the Honey Badgers softball men's league team back in the day with me as your coach, staff to report to. I'm sure those were your most intensive workouts and getting ready for those games back in the day, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, it's still athletics. I'm still competing out there, and I am not the most comfortable playing baseball. I haven't played a lot of it, so no matter what sport I play, I'm not trying to embarrass myself. Well,
you did a damn good job of it for 5 years. You were one of our top players, despite you not being a baseball player. You were a gazelle out there. Basically, if you hit the ball and they basically saw you running down the line, the beer league guys said, we're not going to bother throwing it to first base, because they knew what kind of athlete you are. I can guarantee you were by far miles and ahead the most athletic person in that Niagara Falls softball league. So I can guarantee you that.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it, and I expect myself to be. So
absolutely. Maybe we'll make a reunion one day, but you got a lot more important things. I got a lot more important things to worry about than the Honey Badgers men's softball team, but it will be there forever and something we'll always remember. But with that said, guys, enough of that. We're going to take our last commercial break on the show today. We're going to come back, and we're going to just talk about the upcoming CFL season, what that's going to look like, and Harry's thoughts on getting back and going, hopefully for the 2021 season. So stay right here. We'll be right back on Straight to the Extra Point and right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
J&L Flooring is a Niagara-based specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride in providing elite customer service and support. They are a specialty flooring and decor boutique shop with a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety and truly unique selection of products. All their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced, so you can feel great about your flooring choices. Their goal as a local business is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity, that they foster with respect and authenticity. Offering unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team, they connect with their customers to simplify the process to make their life easier and to make their homes beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, or find out more at jnlflooring.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 905-358-3299 J&L Flooring.
The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill is located on the top of Clifton Hill and just a 5-minute walk from the majestic Niagara Falls. It is conveniently nestled in the heart of the tourist district. A family-owned and operated business, the Spicy Olive opened its doors in May of 2003 and has since been established as an authentic and unique Italian restaurant and bar. Its rustic ambiance and time-worn finishing provide a warm and inviting dining experience. Offering an array of delicious dishes, they specialize in authentic Italian cuisine, homemade sauces, fresh ingredients, and consistently providing a strong foundation on which they build their menu. As night falls, the Spicy Olive shifts to a lively lounge where drinks and live music come together to make a perfect evening. For more than 15 years, they have provided not only for their dedicated locals, but their customers from all over the world with authentic Italian food and great live entertainment. Open daily 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for dinner and till 2 a.m. for drinks. Check out their new menu and book reservations on their website at Spicy Olive Bar and Grill, it's with an E at the end, .com, or call 905-371-2323 for reservations as well. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
All right, guys, welcome back to the final segment of our special edition of Straight to the Extra Point. Brandon Caputo joined by CFL wide receiver for the Edmonton football team, Harry McMaster, formerly of the Western Mustangs and St. Paul Patriots, right here in Niagara Falls, Ontario. With that said, Harry, let's talk about going forward here, hopefully getting through this pandemic and looking towards your season in the 2021 CFL calendar. Obviously, it's projected to start with a rematch of Hamilton and Winnipeg of the Grey Cup from 2019 on June 10th, so that is the projected start date. And the Grey Cup will be in our backyard here in Hamilton this year, Harry, November 21st. I know you've won a Vanier Cup back in Hamilton. What would it mean for you to not only play in a Vanier once again back in the same stadium that you won a Vanier in, but maybe to win a Grey Cup? Just how special would that be to have those two major accomplishments both in your backyard?
I mean, that'd be amazing to do that again, and I'm sure my family would be there just like they were for the Vanier. It would be unreal.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, according to CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie, we're looking forward to hosting our comeback season in our stadiums in front of our fans. As somebody who's watched sports and what happened in 2020, I know you didn't get to experience it because you guys didn't have a season, but how different do you think it would have been, Harry, for yourself as a pro athlete to be playing in front of no fans and have zero crowd reaction? Just how do you think that would have worked for you, and do you think that it might have affected the way that you kind of get the adrenaline and the momentum going in a game? Do you think that would have been hard for you to deal with?
I used this joke a couple of times when people ask me that. I'd say it'd probably be like playing at Guelph.
Yikes!
But that's just a joke, though.
Yeah.
On the road, I don't think it would faze me too much. You don't expect a whole lot from visiting crowds, but I think when you're at home, you kind of expect that crowd to be on your side and to like support you in key moments. So I think just imagining no crowd at home, I think that would be really different.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that. And I'm not even a professional player. Just a member of the media would still be, eerie with that. But just how optimistic are you that you guys will get a season in this year, with us hopefully getting the vaccine? And, obviously it probably won't be 100% capacity, but even at a 25 to 30% capacity, do you think that, you guys would be fired up enough to get back going for seasons, hopefully starting in June again? Luckily, the CFL kind of starts later going into the summertime, so you guys still have a few months here. It's not like your season starts in February or March, but obviously you guys would have to go back for training camp at some point, but again, probably early May. The first preseason games coming in the last week of May. So what do you think of that? Do you think that's a reasonable and a time frame that you guys probably would be able to go off of, and something that you're hopeful of going into this season?
I mean, everything I've heard has been positive about having a season this year, and I try not to, excuse me, follow the updates or keep track of what they're saying. I think I'm really good at focusing on what I'm doing and sticking to that. So I'm trying to keep it as much as I can. I'm trying to keep it in my mind that there will be a season, and I just have to prepare to be, the best player I can be once that the training camp rolls around.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully, again, June 10th is the projected start for the CFL 2021 season. So hopefully, I know you guys are chomping at the bit to get back in the field. It's been over a year now. Again, the late November of 2019 was the last time you played. But before we wrap up, Harry, I know you were able to play and dress in a game back home, sort of in Toronto. And had a lot of family and friends, including myself, there to watch you in that game. Just what were your thoughts of that, of dressing for a pro football team? It's not university, which I'm sure that was special in its own right, but what was it like to dress in a pro game and see your family and friends out there with thousands of other fans in a professional sporting atmosphere? Just what was that like for you as you were kind of soaking it all in, but also trying to remain focused on the field, because when your number was called, you had to go out there and perform. So trying to make sure you were in the right mindset of game mode, but also, trying to soak in, what it was like to be in that situation and to look back at the crowd, and you're actually the guy on the field that, you once were on the sideline hoping to eventually be as a professional football player.
Yeah, it was really cool. And just going out there for warm-ups, I had a moment to just realize where I was. BMO is a stadium I've been to before, and I've seen so many games, on TV that are being played there, and just Toronto in general too. It's such a it's the Canadian sports city, right? So even just to fly in there and then stay at our hotel and then get to play at one of Toronto's sports facilities was pretty incredible. Even though I'm familiar with, obviously I've been to games in Hamilton too before playing there, but it really felt different being at Toronto too, and playing on a real grass field. That feels is really nice. That was pretty awesome to experience too. So
yeah,
it was great.
And just your thoughts on, did you ever look back and see your family and friends, waving their signs and yelling, or were you too focused on what you had to do if your name was called to go into the game?
Yeah, no, I definitely did see them, wave to them, and we got some pictures after, and it was pretty cool. There's some other friends of ours that live in Toronto who, aren't football fans at all, but they just came to the game because I was in there, so that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, Harry, again, thanks so much for taking the time to come on and talk to us about your hopeful journey in the CFL and going forward. I know we had you on for our first episode of the Niagara Athlete Spotlight, where we really went in depth about your upbringings in football and your career at Western, and then getting your name called to Edmonton a couple years ago. So that episode's still up on the channel right now if you guys want to go check that out, the Niagara Athlete Spotlight episode 1 with Harry McMaster. But I'm glad to have you back on and kind of update us on how you're doing back here in Niagara. We're always looking and proud of our athletes that go go on to do great things, and you're another one of those that I know a lot of us back here are proud and hopeful that you can continue on with your CFL career and do great things with that label of hometown of Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada as a part of it. So really looking forward to what you can do this year in the CFL in 2021 with your contract extension, everything with that, and hopefully getting some more playing time to showcase some of those great statistics you had back at Western and kind of showcasing that at the CFL level. So thanks so much for coming back on, and I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point, hopefully when the season starts back up and we have some positive news to talk about you over there in Edmonton. So stay safe and stay warm. I know when you go back to Edmonton, it's not going to be the warmest atmosphere, but definitely try to keep everyone updated on how you're doing and have you back on a fairly regular basis as much as we can. Obviously, you're in training and playing games and everything, but we'd love to have you back on at some point.
For sure, yeah. I can't wait to get out there and do something so we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're stretching out content on the network, and we're stretching out some statistics for Harry as much as we can. And last thing I will say is that if you're looking at his his profile there, he is listed at 6'2", and he is 198 pounds, as opposed to what RotoWire has him there at a lean of 176 pounds. So Harry has assured me that he has gained 20 more pounds of muscle during that time. So 198 is much more accurate, and we'll have to see, when he gets back on the field, what that's going to look like.
Yeah, that's right. Give me those pounds. I'm a solid human being. You're not pushing me around.
Perfect. With that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's special edition of Straight to the Extra Point, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your source North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. As always, I'm one of your hosts of this podcast, Cappy. You can follow me on Twitter at Caputo13 with a Canadian Z. As well, you can follow Harry. Harry, what is your Instagram so people can follow your glorious career?
Yeah, it's my name at Harry McMaster with an extra R at the end.
An extra R, which means another extra touchdown coming this season with Harry and the Edmonton football team. But with that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for our coverage and our special interview with Harry McMaster of the CFL's Edmonton football team. Look for our our Super Bowl preview next week when his brother Miklos McMaster joins me once again on the show. And finally, to you viewers out there for tuning in, listening along with us for this interview, and you Niagara residents, hopefully you guys enjoyed Harry coming on and talking about his career going forward. We're so proud of him being a Niagara boy, so we'll look for that in the future. And finally, this has been Straight to the Extra Point on the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans, for sports fans. We'll see you guys next time.